Hey, I'm Lauren Schaefer, and today I want to show you how easy it is to get started developing on Sugar. Now, when you want to set up your development environment for Sugar, there are two primary ways you can do so. One, you can use a Vagrant box that's pre-configured with things like Apache, MySQL, Elasticsearch, and PHP, or you can set up everything completely locally on your machine. Now, the Vagrant box option is faster and easier to get set up, but if you do the completely local install, you'll get slightly better performance and you'll have more control over your configurations. Now today I want to get you up and running as quickly as possible, so we're going to use the Vagrant box option. Now throughout this video, I'm going to be working through the Vagrant Development Environment Guide. So let's jump right in. The first thing we want to do is install Vagrant. So let me open up the Vagrant website. And you'll notice today I am using a Mac, so I'll be following all of the Mac instructions, but these should pretty much translate to whatever operating system you happen to be using. So I'm downloading the Vagrant installer. Let's open that up. And let's go ahead and open the vagrant.package. I'm just going to go through with all of the defaults. I'll input my password and install Vagrant. All right, looks like our installation was successful. Pretty straightforward. All right, the next thing we want to do is figure out how we are going to actually view this Vagrant box. So there are two primary options here. You've got Virtualbox or VMware. Now, Virtualbox is free and open source, so that's what I'm going to use today. So let's go ahead and navigate to the Virtualbox website. I'm going to download the package for Mac. All right, so let's run through this Virtualbox installer. All right, so let's begin by opening virtualbox.package. All right, and once again, I'm just going to click through and accept all of the default installation options. And put my password. And the installation was successful. All right, so now I've got my Vagrant set up, ready to go. The next thing I need to do is download or check out from source control my Sugar application source files. Now, once you become a Sugar customer or a Sugar partner, you'll get access to Download Manager where you can download a copy of the source code. Now, to save a little bit of time, I went ahead and downloaded a copy of the code, and I'm going to go ahead and unzip it. Now, I'm going to choose to use Git as my source control, so I've got a Git directory, and that's where I'm choosing to unzip my Sugar source files. All right, so we finished unzipping, and if I were to open that up, I'd see all of the Sugar source files. So we've got our Vagrant box ready to go. We've got our source code. Let's go ahead and launch Vagrant. Now there are two Vagrant boxes I can choose from. I'm going to be installing Sugar 791, so I'm going to choose to use this second box. The Development Environment Guide has the commands already listed for me, so I'm just going to go ahead and use those. So I'm in my Git directory, so let me change over to my Sugar directory. Here's where all of my source files are. And then I'm just going to copy this command from the Development Environment Guide. So I'm going to use, for the box name right here. Try not to make any typos. And then I'll use the command to start up the box. All right, that took just a minute, so I went ahead and fast forwarded for us. But now we have our Vagrant box up and running. So it's time to check out our locally running version of Sugar. So let me scroll down a little bit, and we can see the installation guide has our URL for our locally running version of Sugar. So let's open that up. And sometimes the very first time you open this, it's going to take a minute for this to load. So let me walk you through the setup wizard guide. For the most part, I'm just going to accept all the defaults, and I will let you know if I change something. So I'm going to accept the license agreement. I'm going to enter my download key, and I'm going to stick with the typical install. I'm going to stick with MySQL as my database. Now I've got a few options to put in here. For my database administrator username, I'm going to input root, and I'll also input root as the password. Now, if this was a real production instance, obviously you would not want to do that, but it's local. It's a local dev environment. I'm not so worried about security here. The other big option you want to check out is whether you want to populate the database with demo data. Now, on your locally running development environments, this is a fantastic option, so I'm going to click yes. Obviously, you would not want to do this in production. You would not want to have random sample data, but it's super helpful when you're testing out your functionality. The next option is what I want my admin username and password to be. So I'm going to go ahead and input a password for my administrative sugar user. All right, we are ready to begin the installation. So the installation typically takes about a minute or two. When you choose the option to populate the database with sample data, it does take a couple extra minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through the magic of video editing. All right, everything has finished, so let me click next. All right, we've finished our installation. I'm going to go ahead and log in as the admin user that I created a few steps ago. All right, I'm going to create a profile for my admin user and click next. And here I could change the time zone. I'm just going to stick with the defaults. All right, it's time to start Sugar. So here I have Sugar running. I have the option now of clicking around. I can explore the different modules. I can see that sample data that was created for me. And then I also have the option of opening up the source code in my favorite IDE. Here at Sugar, a lot of our engineers choose to use PHP Storm. So you can make your code changes and then see them running locally in your own instance of Sugar. Pretty awesome, right? All right, that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy developing on Sugar.